3 secret phrases before sleeping that will make you rich. But before I tell you what they are, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This might sound strange at first, but most people lose their lives not during the day, but in the last few minutes before falling asleep. It's there, when everything seems to end, that many things begin or fall apart. While you think you're just drifting off to sleep, your mind is deciding how you'll wake up, think, feel, and act tomorrow. And the most curious thing? Almost no one realizes they're leaving this moment to chance. Now comes the paradox. The less effort you make before bed, the more impact it can have on your life. It's not about working harder, thinking more, or demanding more of yourself. It's about saying the right words at the right time. Simple, almost banal words, but when repeated in that specific state of mind, they act as silent commands. And no, this isn't shallow positive thinking. It's a mental strategy that spans decades. Napoleon Hill understood this early on. While many sought external formulas for success, he observed something internal, invisible, yet absurdly powerful. A discreet, nightly habit, done away from applause, that shaped decisions, emotions, and opportunities the following day. The question isn't whether it works. The question is, what have you been saying, or failing to say, to your mind before going to sleep? Today you're going to discover 3 phrases that will change the game. Not because they're magic, but because they work exactly where almost no one else does. And when you understand that, sleep stops being just rest and becomes preparation. What happens in your mind before you fall asleep? You may not realize it, but the last few minutes before sleep are the most vulnerable and most powerful moment of your day. It's when your mind lowers its guard, relaxes its filters, lets go of its defenses. Everything slows down. The rush, the worries, the noise of the world. Everything begins to lose its power. And it is precisely in this silent, almost invisible space that something decisive happens inside you, even if no one has ever properly explained it to you. While the body rests, the mind doesn't switch off, not even close. It enters a deep mode of organization, connection, and creation. Repetitive thoughts at that moment don't pass. They linger. Emotions felt there don't evaporate. They are recorded. It's as if your mind is saying, "Okay, this is important. I'll save it." And the curious thing is that most people surrender this moment to chance, to tiredness, or to their cell phones, without imagining the impact it will have the next day. Perhaps that's why you often wake up already tired, without clarity, without direction, as if something is out of place. It's not a lack of ability, nor bad luck. It's programming. The good news? If this state creates confusion when misused, it can also create focus, prosperity, and solutions when used intentionally. And it is precisely here that a simple, yet not obvious principle begins, one that completely changes the way you sleep and wake up. Why the words spoken at night shape your reality. Now pay attention to this, because almost no one talks here. The words you say before falling asleep aren't just loose thoughts. They function as commands. It's like typing a line of code and pressing Enter, knowing the system will run it for hours. When you speak in this state of deep relaxation, your mind doesn't debate, doesn't question, doesn't judge. It accepts. That's the deal. During the day, you try to think positively, but your conscious mind is tired and full of noise. At night, however, the game changes. The mind enters a receptive, almost childlike mode, ready to absorb whatever comes. That's why repeated phrases at this time begin to shape decisions, emotions, and even automatic reactions the next day. You wake up different, act differently, choose differently, even without realizing where it came from. Perhaps you've experienced something like this. You go to sleep worried, you wake up heavy, you sleep hopeful, you wake up lighter. It's no coincidence. Words carry direction. And when they find that specific mental state, they become seeds. Some grow in fear, others in clarity. And it is precisely by understanding this that certain men decades ago developed a simple, almost silent, but absurdly effective nighttime habit. The invisible principle that Napoleon Hill used at night. Napoleon Hill realized something that almost no one notices. Success doesn't begin when you wake up. It begins the night before. While many people end the day exhausted, complaining or distracting themselves until they fall asleep, he treated the last few minutes awake as sacred territory. No phone, no noise, no chaos. Just intention. He understood that a tired mind doesn't need more information. It needs direction. There is a silent principle at work here. What you repeat when you are relaxed becomes familiar to your mind, and what becomes familiar begins to seem possible. Hill observed this by studying extremely successful people. They didn't let their minds wander before bed. They chose what to plant. Simple words, but full of meaning, were used as mental anchors for the next day. And the most interesting thing is that this habit didn't require effort, extra time, or absurd discipline. Just consistency. A small ritual repeated night after night begins to align thoughts, emotions, and decisions almost automatically. You don't force results. You become the kind of person who generates results. And it is precisely here that three specific phrases come in, chosen with a criterion that goes far beyond common positivism. The three phrases and the real reason behind each one. The first phrase wasn't chosen because it sounds nice, but because it opens up inner space. When you say your mind is open to receiving abundance, something silent happens. You stop fighting the possibility of having more. Many people get stuck not because of a lack of ability, but because of internal resistance. This phrase doesn't ask for money. It dissolves blockages. It's like unlocking a door that's always been there, just forgotten. The second phrase works on another, deeper level. By stating that perfect solutions will come to you, your mind enters automatic search mode. Effortlessly, without anxiety. While you sleep, connections happen. Ideas organize themselves. Have you ever noticed how answers appear in the shower or upon waking? It's not magic, it's unconscious processing. This phrase gives the mind a clear mission during the night. The third phrase strategically closes the cycle. Declaring that you wake up more prosperous and wiser creates continuity. It's not about an immediate leap. It's about daily evolution. Small, constant, inevitable. You go to sleep with this identity and wake up aligned with it. And when these three phrases are in the right order, something changes on your inner axis. But for it to truly work, there's an execution detail that almost everyone ignores. The night ritual and how to apply it in real life now comes the part that separates those who only listen from those who truly transform. It's not enough to know the phrases. It's as that's what triggers the effect. The ritual begins when you decide to truly slow down. Lie down, put your phone down, take a few deep breaths. Nothing fancy. Just create a small space of presence. This moment tells the mind, now it's serious. And that changes everything. Whispering isn't a detail, it's a strategy. When you speak softly, almost in secret, your mind interprets it as something intimate, a priority. Repeat each phrase calmly, feeling the words, not just speaking them. If you want to make this even more real, visualize a simple situation. Waking up with clarity, resolving something that previously held you back, feeling lightness as you start the day. The simpler, the better. The mind likes what is clear. And here's something few people do. Consistency without pressure. Don't turn it into a heavy obligation. Think of it as a silent agreement with yourself. Even on bad days, do it. Especially on bad days. Because it's precisely on those days that the mind most needs direction before shutting down. And when this habit starts to repeat itself, night after night, something cumulative forms. something that only becomes evident after a certain time. The cumulative effect of 21 nights and the first signs. Here's something that almost no one has the patience to observe. The cumulative effect. In the first few nights, you might even think nothing has happened. That's normal. The mind takes time to trust the new command. But something subtle begins to change. Sleep becomes deeper, dreams more vivid, and that feeling of waking up already tired begins to diminish. It's subtle, but it's real. After a few days, signs begin to appear in your daily life. You wake up with ideas that weren't there before. Small solutions emerge out of nowhere. Unexpected conversations happen. Not because the world has suddenly changed, but because your perception has become sharper. When your mind is organized overnight, the day flows differently. You react less automatically and begin to act with more clarity. And it's around 21 nights that something curious happens. You no longer need to force yourself to repeat the ritual. It becomes part of you. Sleeping without directing your mind starts to feel strange. It's like leaving home without your keys. At this point, many people realize they're not just sleeping better. They're thinking better, deciding better, living better. And this opens the door to an inevitable question that changes the game. Now the choice is yours. Now let me ask you a sincere question. If the last few minutes before sleep shape the next day, when did the kind of life you're living today begin? Last night? Last week? Or has it been built over the years without you realizing it, by the same words, the same thoughts, the same automatic habits? Because nothing truly changes until you change your starting point. The knowledge you just received doesn't work if it remains just an understanding. It works when it becomes practice. Tonight, not tomorrow, not when you have spare time. Today. Lie down, breathe, silence the noise, and consciously choose what you will plant in your mind. You don't need to believe 100%, you just need to test it honestly. Sometimes, transformation begins not when you are certain, but when you decide to try something different. And now I want to know from you. What has been occupying your mind most before bed? Worry or intention? Fear or direction? If you woke up tomorrow clearer, lighter, and more confident, what would that change in your life? Write in the comments which of these phrases resonated with you most, or if you will start this ritual today. Public commitment changes behavior. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here you'll learn how to use your mind the right way, at the right time, to build a life that doesn't depend on luck. And remember, while many people sleep on autopilot, you can sleep preparing for the next level of your life.